Well, hello from Sweetwater. I figured I wanted to introduce you properly to my little hen here. Okay, Pearl. Her name is Pearl, and I just want to tell you her story real quick. This won't be lengthy. So anyhow, last winter, this is one of our laying hens, and she's probably around 3 years old. I believe she's around 3 years old. And last winter, when I was working around the chicken coop, feeding, freshening up the water, and cleaning up the coop, I noticed that I had a hen and that one nesting box was just laying there in a very peculiar position. And I went over to investigate, and I saw this chicken, and her legs were all tucked up underneath her, and her claws were all compressed like this, and she had no stability in her body. And I thought, what's going on with her? So I picked her up, and I looked at her, and I'll be darned, her legs weren't working. And all her claws, okay, you're not going to be able to see it. They were all curled up like that, if you can see that. But they wouldn't straighten out. So when she would try to get up and walk, she's kind of like this. And she would have no stability because her claws need to be spread out like this, right, for stability. But she was all clawed up like that, and her legs were tucked in, and I would sit her up and she'd fall over. And I thought, wow, what happened? Because I didn't see this coming. I mean, I'm pretty observant of my livestock, maybe a little less observant of my chickens, very observant of my horses. Yeah, there's kind of an odor there, but that's okay. So I thought, oh, okay. Let's see if I can give her let's see if there's some kind of infection there. So I gave her some penicillin G, and the way you do it with chickens is you have to find the breast meat here, and you give her a half of a milliliter. And there's not much at all regarding her body weight. So I gave her one shot one day, then the second day I gave her another shot, and you generally do that 3 days in a row for livestock. But after the second day, I'm watching her, looking at her, it's like, this is not an infection. This is some kind of a neurological situation going on here with her. So I thought, I'm going to have to destroy her. Nobody likes to destroy their animals. But at times when you're on the farm, it's the reality of life. It's not just, beautiful sunsets and lush green grass and no manure on the fields. No, it's a reality. There's a lot of life here. And the word is, if you have livestock, you're going to have dead stock, and that's the reality of life. As cruel as that sounds sometimes, but that is the reality. So I thought, okay, I'm going to have to just destroy her, but I'm going to give her a week and see what happens. So the third day I went out there, and I didn't see, any evidence that it was a virus or a bacteria issue. It seemed like a neurological. So I thought, I'm going to put a little time into this girl before I destroy her. Give her a little chance. And now I'm not a big producer, and the story I'm going to share with you here, it's not sustainable. To have a sustainable farm is just would be a wonderful thing. And there are things here that are sustainable, okay? But I still have to bring feed stuff in. And so the sustainability of our small farm here is, maybe 30, 70, 40, 40, 60, 60% having to go and buy something to maintain your animals. So this is not a sustainable situation, and if you're a producer and you got 50 birds, you got 100 birds, you got 500 birds, no, you're not going to do this. I get it. I got 9 laying hens, and I had some time this winter, and I thought, let me just see if I can walk through this with this little girl and try to figure this whole thing out. So what I did, I'd start picking her up, and I'd start manipulating her legs. We're walking them back and forth, making them go up and down like this. And they were flexible and they were elastic, and it's like, well, there's nothing broken in there. So I started manipulating her legs. Then I started taking her claws and straightening them out like this. And I don't know, chicken therapy. So chicken therapy. Sounds more like chicken soup therapy. Anyhow, I was giving her a little therapy, and I did it the next day, did it several times a day, and then I'll be darned, she started standing up. Now some of her claws were still curved in a little bit, and she was a little clumsy and everything, but man, she started standing up. And for her to be able to stand up, considering where she was, is That was an amazing accomplishment right there. So then I started manipulating her claws more and more, and then they started straightening up. And then all of a sudden I started seeing her. This is over time now. Now I'm into it like the 3rd week, right? So, and you can see how she's kind of, she's active here. She wouldn't even do that before. Oh, and then by the way, if you ever want to hold a chicken, just to let you know, you should always grab, a side note here, grab her legs like this. My right hand's better. I got more distance. Okay, come here, little girl. I'm trying to show everybody something. You grab their legs like this, okay? And then, so now you have her, okay? And you're holding her like this. So this is the proper way to hold a chicken, if you were so inclined and curious. So anyhow, so the poopy side is never near you. Okay, a lot of people will hold them like this and cuddle them. That's fine. But just, if you get a surprise on your shirt, don't be upset with the chicken. So this is the proper way to hold a chicken. Anyhow, start manipulating her legs, start manipulating her claws. She started standing up on her own. I thought it was really cool. And then she started walking around. And now, we're into it like 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and I'm kind of enjoying this. And it's like, I'm not going to have to destroy this girl. But I'm thinking, I hope a hawk doesn't come down and take her because it's springtime and they have their nestlings, because she's still a vulnerable little girl. So she stayed in the coop for a while because it was severely cold. And then I'd get her out and put her outside, on the outside of the coop. And I couldn't put her with the other chickens because the normal pecking order is, the natural process would be, if there's something that's sick in your flock or your herd, the other ones are going to take you out because you are going to make them vulnerable to predation. So I had to be careful with the pecking order because they would really pick on her. So I had to keep her separated for a little bit. But I put her out on the grass. When grass is starting to come in now, she's eating the grasses. She's eating her grain. I give her, I give her fat and things like that, and she's eating that. Because they are carnivores, chickens. You know that they would prefer meat over vegetation. So you mix it all up for them. So all that to say, she is. If you can see her here, can you see her? Yeah. Let me move the camera a little bit here so you can see her. Little Pearl. I'll see if I can lower this a little bit for you. I really can't. Anyhow, she's standing. She's walking around, okay? And she's pretty much getting pretty independent. Now it's interesting because there's 2 claws here that are still kind of curved back. I don't think they're going to get any better. But anyhow, that's the story of Pearl. And if you see her in any of our videos, you know her background story. And as far as I can tell, she's healthy. And now what I'm expecting is she gets back into production, because we put a lot of time and effort into her. It's all right, boys. She just dropped the food. There's a lot of time and effort in her, so hopefully she'll pay us back with some production of eggs. All right, that's the story of Pearl. She's a good girl, and now she's so friendly because I've been handling her for 3 months. So she walks up to me. People can pick her up, and she's very, very well adapted to the person now because of all the handling we have done with her. So, all right, thought you might enjoy that. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you again back at Sweetwater at another time. Bye now.